Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the most must-see podcast here in the NJSSL. Welcome back to the one, the only, the Cutting Redge. We are here live with one of the most controversial figures in the history of NJSSL, and it's impossible to have an episode of the Cutting Redge without controversy. And so, please welcome my guest at this time. He is an all-star defender and all-star lineman here in the NJSSL, defensive player on Hussaini FC, and then an all-star lineman both on previously on the Buccaneers as well as on the Giants this past season. Please welcome Yasir Rizvi. Yasir, how are you, my man?
I'm good, Alhamdulillah. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
It's definitely an honor. I mean, I've seen Cutting Redge for a while now, and always wanted to be a part of it. So I got a chance now. So
Well, alhamdulillah, we're happy that you're able to be on the show, and I bet you're going to have some excellent insight. So Yasser, obviously you're playing soccer now. In this season, how long? Like, I feel like you've played soccer for a long time, right? Or am I wrong about that?
yeah, so I think that's the only sport out of all the NJSSL sports we've been playing that I have played before NJSSL. We
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, so back when I was in Pakistan, we would play soccer, not professionally, but like
Sure,
out on the streets or like even in our house. Safir,
of course.
me, Zuhair Bhai, we used to play with other guys. So that's probably one of the sports that I'm more familiar with if I compare to football or basketball. Um, as like when we came to US, I think beside cricket, that's one of the sports that we continuously played. We used to play with all the AZ guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like got kicked out of a lot of fields on playing soccer too out in Monroe, but that
Of
was a
course.
whole different thing. But I mean, yeah, that's probably one of the sports that I've been connected to for the
Mhm.
longest time.
Of course, and actually, since you mentioned cricket, congratulations on the victory for the Sultan Smashers.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I mean, this
2 years in a row now, right?
yeah. I mean, this is our second season. We've been winning for the last two seasons, so it's definitely something. We have a great team. We all like it's all like AZ guys. We started this team as we were like I think going to a majlis or just like a milad at AZ
Hmm.
parking lot, and we just decided to go with it. We
Yeah,
put our own team in, and Alhamdulillah, we've been winning.
there you go, there you go. So, word to the wise for all you cricket fans out there. If you think that you're good enough, to hang with the Sultan Smashers, reach out to Yasser, and maybe you can earn a spot on a championship caliber team.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the sports that we've been seeing a lot of interest in, and I
Hmm.
think NJSSL should start their own, mini league or something. I think we
Yeah,
have enough interest that we can definitely
definitely.
make teams and do something about it.
Similar to soccer, I think it's only a matter of time.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
speaking of which, let's bring it back. So we are now 4 weeks into NJSSL Soccer, the first season of that. We have a clear cut top team right now. It is your team, Hussaini FC, that is in first place at 3-1. Followed by the two and two teams, Timeless Creations FC, as well as Velocity Capital FC, and then finally struggling in last place. Who would have thought? Anjuman Haider Karar FC. A team that should have been very good on paper, but right now, at the bottom of the barrel. Generally speaking, like what has been your kind of like your thoughts on the way that the standings are right now, and just kind of how this whole season has been playing out?
Honestly, the way drafts went, you could see like on paper, Hussaini FC kind of stood out because it's not like your regular guys, right? Everybody
Mm-hmm.
picked people that they know they've seen play, right? Hosseini FC was kind of like if you look at AHK, right? It's all the guys that play soccer with each other
Mm-hmm.
like regularly, So Wally picked a team that he was like more familiar with.
Sure.
ZJ actually went on a different route. He not necessarily picked like the best soccer player, but he picked the best athletes. And I think
Yes.
that was a great decision in my opinion, because you see likes of Shadok, right? Um, who's not necessarily the best soccer player, but he's an athlete. He can run all day. Like, I mean, it's amazing to see him play. He can be one moment he can be on defense, second moment he could be like out in the box, like scoring goal.
All right.
He has scored 2 goals, being on defense, so that's amazing. It's a nice, I think, group of people coming together, and the chemistry works. And I think
Absolutely.
the biggest gel of all of us like playing together, I think, is a good midfielder, and I think Samir is playing that role perfectly. He's like,
I was actually just about to ask you about Samir. So far, I would say Samir is probably one of the guys, who I think he was drafted in the fourth or fifth round, for your team, and he's been really playing arguably as like a top player, a potential first round pick.
yeah.
How crucial has he been to the success of Hussaini FC, as he seems like he could be a potential MVP candidate.
Yeah, I mean, again, I mean, I think he's been amazing. Like being, so soccer is all about like chemistry, right? If you play
Hmm.
together nicely, even if you don't have the best of the skills, you'll
Hmm.
definitely exceed. It's all about like how well you know each other, how well you communicate with each other. I think, and Samir's playing the biggest role in our team in regards to that. He's like communicating well, like on field with people. He's telling people off field like what they're doing wrong. Um, a lot of times, like me as an example, if I'm playing if I'm playing a back left, right, or for defense, and if I'm
Hmm.
on my position, he would like let me know, like, hey, like you gotta cover this guy and whatnot. So he's like all around. He's keeping his eyes open. He's like looking out for opportunities, making sure we're not making any mistakes. If we are making mistakes, he's letting us know right there and then. So I think in that regards, he's like a gel that's keeping us together and like making us work.
Yeah, he seems like a very high IQ player, and he seems like he's obviously got the skill set to go along with it.
Yeah.
It's definitely paying dividends for Hussaini FC. Let's talk about your game against AHK. This past week, it was pretty much a blowout. It was 5-2 was the final. I don't think this game was posted, so I didn't see like how close it really was at any point. But we had 2 goals from Farhan Ehsan, who was the first round pick for Hussaini FC, 2 goals from Samir Ahmad, and then 1 goal from Surur Abbas. Big shout out to Surur Abbas, who is playing in his first NJSSL league. And then on the other hand, we have Shazan and Vali Mirza, who scored for AHK. And there's one thing that I think to start off before we talk about anything else. Actually, no. I'll save it for later. Why don't you tell me about how this game went? How you felt this game went?
I think it started off pretty well. It was a pretty neck to neck game in the beginning. When they when they were kind of like, so basically the way it started is Shazan was playing back as a defender, and
Mm-hmm.
I think it was working well for them. We weren't able to score many goals in the beginning. For the first half, I think it was a pretty neck to neck game. I think it was 2-1 or 3-1, something like that, right? And it was working well. But then Shazan, I don't know, for whatever reason, who's their best defender and arguably the best keeper in the league,
Mm-hmm.
decided to come up and start playing offense, right? And that's where they lost it, because they didn't have any defense, and we just literally
Mm.
went right through them.
Got it. Got it.
And today we I'll talk a little bit more about AHK, because I saw firsthand like how their defense could be lethal.
Mm-hmm.
We were actually practicing today. A lot of people showed up. Most of AHK and most of Timeless were there actually, and there was only me from HFC, and then I think a couple guys from Velo showed up, right?
Sure.
So it was nice seeing Shazan back in the nets, where he actually like excel, right?
Yeah.
He's an amazing goalie. I don't know why they weren't putting him in the nets before, but he was playing goalie and he was controlling the whole defense. And
Hmm.
literally, like any any offense, any striker, they were barely able to score on them. So I can see how AHK can do better. Like their defense
Yeah.
needs to be there, and Shazan needs to lead their defense, right? Um,
Yeah. I think
that
just
works
to
for
kind of.
them. I mean, we're gonna see this Saturday. I think they're planning on playing with this defense with Safir, I think center back, uh,
Mhm.
Abdi and Shabar on each side, and I think that was their defense, and I think it was working perfectly fine. No one was able to like actually score like free goals on them. The
Mhm.
goals that Goss I think scored or Sajad I think scored, they were
Mhm.
like pretty good goals. So I would say,
No,
yeah,
you're good.
they. I think they've been making some mistakes, but I think they still have the potential to beat any of the other three teams on a good day.
They they definitely can. Definitely. They have their matchup against Timeless Creations FC coming up this week. So hopefully, with the with this the adjustments that they've made, kind of in the interim and the time in between games, they can come back and have some stronger offense and keep Shazan exactly as you said. Back in the goal and in charge of the defense. I kind of alluded to Shazan being potentially the best goalkeeper in the league earlier on in the season, potentially still very arguably true. But one thing I wanted to point out about him, and I wanted to hear your thoughts on this. You take the AHKFC, you take the Giants, you take the Jaguars the season before that, and the one common theme is that Shazan is supposed to be the one of the main guys on all of these teams, and all of these teams are always in last place. So, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Yasser? I mean, is Shazan really the a reason for that? Is he the cause, or is he just overrated? Is it behavioral? What do you think it is?
So I've been on Giants with him. Um, I've seen him, I've seen him play, but the thing with Shazan, I think is, I don't think it's behavioral. It's more of he doesn't recognize his potential in the position that he excels at, right? So let's just say, so I mean, I wouldn't say that because he loves playing QB, right? Everybody knows
Sure.
this. He might not be the best QB, but he loves playing QB and he's very stubborn, right? When it comes to
Mm-hmm.
he only wants to play QB. I
Mm-hmm.
know firsthand if he plays line or like right, if he plays O line, he can be very lethal. He
Mm-hmm.
because he's a obvious like he's a big
He's a
guy,
strong guy.
stop people. Or if he plays center, he can sneak out and get a good catches. And even on
Mm-hmm.
defense, he can like he was playing corner. I think he was playing corner or he was playing linebacker. He was doing amazing, right? So
Yep.
he needs to like listen to the leadership. One
Mm-hmm.
thing that I would say that he doesn't like listening to what's being told to him, and he doesn't believe it until it's too late. And I think that's
Mm-hmm.
what happened in like AHK's team too, right? They they played like 4 games. After that, they realized, or Shazan realized that yeah, if they want to win the next couple games, or if they want to have a shot, right, they're gonna have to play Shazan as a goalie where he excels.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's better, late than never, I guess. It's still fair game for everybody.
100%.
Everybody's making playoffs, so I think it's good that they realize that now than later in the season.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But I don't
So
think
hopefully,
I don't think he's a bad kid. I think it's just like, like he has some issues following orders. I think that's it.
fair enough, fair enough. And I think with experience and age, those things do kind of
Yeah.
fall into place, right? So I think it's only a matter of time before he explodes and becomes the MVP that he is destined to be. But who knows how long that'll take. Let's move on to the other game from this past week. This was one that I was able to catch the highlights of. It was Velocity Capital FC versus Timeless Creations FC. This game was 1-1 at the end of it. regular time, and then went into penalty kicks. And I think believe the final in the penalty kicks was 3-2. Did you happen to catch this game at all?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it firsthand. I was there. I was recording for the first half, I think. Um, I think it was a great game.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I did notice that, I mean, Velocity, right? They've won 2 games so far. Both of
Yes.
those games were on penalty kicks. So
Mm-hmm.
there's definitely something lacking there. Even though they have arguably the best offense, right? They got Irtada leading from the front. They got Ali Dina and they got Abbas Matani.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, they're fast young guys,
Three
and
fast young guys.
they should be scoring more goals. I don't know what's going on in their offense. Why are they not scoring like as much as they should? But I don't know. There's
Mm-hmm.
something they need to work on chemistry or whatever. Like something's not right over here. When I see their team stacked, like their defense is controlled by the tallest guy who's probably the best defender,
Mm-hmm.
Hussein. I mean, he plays really good for for having some like lack of um, you know
Soccer.
yeah, soccer experience. Obviously, I mean,
Yeah.
soccer is fairly new to this group. I
Mm-hmm.
see people like still like not sure about if it's a foul or not. I mean that's you play and you learn, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think Hussein is doing a great job on their defense. That's why they're keeping like all the games that Velocity have played. They've always had a low score against them, and same things happen on their offense too, right?
Mm-hmm.
They weren't able to score many goals. The 2 games they won was on penalty kicks,
Yeah.
and it was an unfortunate game. The only game we actually lost was against Velocity, right? And that was on penalties. And whatever happened, it's all in the past. But I mean,
Sure. Sure. Sure.
still like a very neck to neck, like close game.
Yeah, I think the one thing that they're definitely very good at is keeping a game close and definitely defensively, minimizing goals for whatever team that they are facing. So I definitely give that to Velocity. And I will say I think Irtaza is probably I would never have suspected him to be as good of a player as he actually is. Like he is like quite talented on the field.
I actually have seen him like because as I said we've played before, so I've seen him play. So I definitely knew that he's got potential 100%.
Hmm.
He can run like he can run out like very fast. He can beat all the defenders. I mean, he has good ball control. He actually has like good finish too. So he's a
Yeah,
good like overall striker. I think he just needs some backing from the guys around him, right? So
yeah,
he
yeah,
can
yeah.
actually like play free and score more.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. What are your thoughts on Timeless from this game?
Um, Timeless, like I can I saw Timeless play against us, and I was genuinely scared. I think that was the first game as a defender I was actually scared of how good their offense was.
Hmm.
I've seen like it's because today too, right? They were playing like they had all their I. So I went on the practice today for the first time I think, but
Hmm.
from when I went there, they told me that they do this every Thursday. So I can
Yeah.
see it on the field because if they play every Thursday, if they like do scrimmage and do practice, whatnot,
Hmm.
that means their chemistry is amazing, and I can see it on
Hmm.
the field. Like they know exactly where the other person is. They've been a little unlucky, I think, at times.
Yeah.
I think their offense is top notch.
I was gonna say, I mean, the one thing that's definitely true of Timeless is that they're just a very well-oiled machine. I think on both sides, like their chemistry is probably amongst the best in the league. And I think that I mean, I'm gonna jump. Well, I don't want to jump ahead just yet, but I think they definitely have the caliber and the potential to definitely win it all. So we'll see whether or not that comes true. Fair enough. So I mean, I think definitely great play all around on their team. I think Abbas Heather is the one who scored their one goal earlier in the game, and then Irtaza scored the goal on the other side. Let's jump forward to this upcoming week. We've got this is the final week in the season. We've got AHK FC versus Timeless Creations. I mean, I'm just in that game. I'm gonna go with Timeless because I still have yet to see AHK really kind of get everything under their under their belt. Would you go with Timeless in this one, or do you have AHK kind of turning it around?
Um, so AHK had one win so far, and it was
Mm-hmm.
against Timeless. So
Mm-hmm.
I would actually go with AHK on this game, with especially because with Shazan in the nets and their new defense, I'm actually I'm actually in favor of AHK on this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No,
I
we'll
mean,
see.
I mean, I know it's going to be a more defensive game. It's going to be a low scoring
Yeah.
game for sure
Mm-hmm.
um, because even if they score on Shazan, it's not going to be a lot of goals.
Yep.
It's just a matter of how well their AHK's offense works, right? Um,
Absolutely.
I mean, defense. Okay, we get it. Like you have the best defense, or from what I saw, I think they have a good defense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like they're being guided by Shazan. I think they're doing good, but their offense still lacks. Only Vali is the only one who can actually run in their offense, right? Mac-
Mm-hmm.
so Maklai, I think he's got good ball control. He's a good midfielder,
Mm-hmm.
but he needs people on either side who can actually run back and forth, who can actually make
Mm-hmm.
passes, right? Who can
Right.
execute this. And I think
Right.
other than Vali, I don't see anybody else. I see Taki
Yeah.
who can like who's got ball control. Who can finish, but he doesn't have stamina. I mean,
Mm.
uh, that's just a sad reality, I guess.
What about someone like Qasim, or I think there's Ali Rizvi on the team is Bobby, I think, right? What about one of those guys?
Yeah, I mean, again, I mean, Bobby can play for good for like 15, 20 minutes. He doesn't have the stamina to play
That's
the whole
fair.
game. Um, Qasim, I haven't seen much. I mean, Qasim can run. Qasim has got good stamina, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen him with the ball that I can comment on it, right?
Comment. Fair
Um,
enough. Fair
I
enough.
mean, he may be a good part of the team. He can he can pass the ball. He does like as a midfielder. I think Qasim plays midfield.
Mm-hmm.
As a midfielder, you don't have to be like a good. All you need is good ball control, right? You can pass the ball to your strikers, to your wingers, and then let them have it. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, on paper, I see HK doing very well, but I don't know, like maybe they were lacking on their defense because, I mean, if you look at the scores, right, six
Yeah.
two, 5-2, like these are like this is just a sign of having bad defense.
Bad defense, right? Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Giving up way too many goals. I mean, definitely early on in the
I think
season,
they
they
started
kind of
like giving
struggled to
up towards the
get the
end
chemistry.
of the game. That's why like even Shubber, I think I think it's better off they're better off having Shazan in the nets than Shubber.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very different team than what we've seen so far. So I guess we'll see what happens with that one.
yeah.
I would probably call that one, a 2-2 that goes into penalty kicks, and I think Timeless is going to pull it out in the penalty. But we'll see what happens. Um, let's talk about this other game, Capital versus Hussaini FC. Now you mentioned earlier, Capital is the one team I believe that you said beat Hussaini FC and penalty kicks, right? Or did I miss that up?
Yeah.
That was it. So do you so what's Hosseini FC going to do differently this time going into this game to secure that victory?
So the thing with I mean, yeah, I mean, I get it. Like we lost to them, so I don't want to make any excuses, but like we were missing Samir that day, right? And he, as I said, he's the
That's fair.
gel, right? He's the gel. He kept us together. Um, so that day, what I saw lacking from our side was midfield. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was another game. It's done, whatever, right? Today, this Saturday, actually, we're treating this game as more of a practice than an actual game
Mm-hmm.
because we looked at the scenarios, and I think strategically, it's better off if we don't win this game.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
because obviously we want to play AHK in semis, who
Yeah.
we had a good record against
Right.
than any other team. Um,
So, so let's just touch on actually the scenarios real quick. So if AHK wins this week, and if you guys win this week,
mhm,
then you would play Timeless actually, and AHK would play Velocicapital.
yeah,
Um, but any other result would result in you guys against AHK, and then Velocicapital versus Timeless.
yeah.
So you're saying you might as well take the loss. That way you get AHK next week. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's true. Because I don't know if you know, last week ZJ actually hurt his Achilles.
Mm.
Alhamdulillah, it's not bad, but we're giving him some rest, right?
Hmm.
He's like, he's a key player. He's our
Right. Of
captain.
course.
He's our starting midfield. So
Of course.
if he's not in the game, I think a few of our key players are also sitting out this game because obviously they want to be ready, for the
Of
semis.
course.
Um, so it's gonna be a new starting lineup. People who have been on bench for most of the season, they're going to be starting, and
Yeah.
it's going to be a different team, But
Yeah. Of
we're giving
course.
everybody a chance. This is what NJSSL is all about, right? We want to get everybody an opportunity to shine. I mean, you never know. I might be playing offense. I
Yes,
mean,
he might be the starting striker.
yeah, yeah. Um, we're playing around. We're giving everybody a chance. So it's gonna be fun.
but
We're playing
but it's not.
more for fun than for
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, which is fair. And but it sounds like if I'm hearing you correctly, you're going to give the win to Velocicapital this week.
I mean, technically, yes. Yeah. That's what we want to do, right? That's what we want to do because strategically it just
Yeah.
makes sense for us.
Got it. Got it. So yeah. So let's then kind of move on. Actually, so I'll also say Velocicapital is going to win this week. Let's move on to the playoff predictions then. So that means that the first round most likely is going to be AHK versus you guys, and then Velocicapital versus Timeless. And I think it's pretty safe to say, unless we see a very different AHK team this week, that basically means that Hussaini FC is going to go to the finals. And if so, who do you think they'd be against?
So let's start with who would we want to be against? We want to be
Sure.
against Willow, honestly.
Okay.
But I think it's gonna be Timeless versus HFC final. From what I'm
Over the
hearing,
HFC final. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. So you think Timeless? Because I think you had mentioned that Timeless. No, Timeless beat Velocicapital both times. I think they played them. Right? Does that sound right?
actually, no. Velocity beat them once, and I think Timeless. So I think it's 1-1. The first game they played, Timeless beat Velocity. No, actually, no.
Oh no, both times. Both times they won. Both
Both
times
times
they
they
won.
won.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah. So I agree. I mean, I think.
I think
I think
Timeless is
for lack
winning
of
this time.
for lack of a better way to put it, I think that Timeless has Velocicapital's number. They've beaten them twice. I think that they are going to beat them a third time. That's what you're saying too, right? That they'll beat them again.
Yeah, I think Timeless is no. Actually, I'm saying Timeless is gonna be in the finals.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Timeless is going to beat.
Timeless is gonna face against us, hopefully.
Yep.
Um, and I think that's gonna be a great final. It's gonna be amazing.
I think so too. I think that's going to be a great game, and I think I I might be alone on this, but I think that in that final scenario, I think I would give the championship to Timeless. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think it's going to be a fine. I think it's not going to go to overtime, but I think it's going to be like a 2-1 or a 3-2 final, something like that. Probably 2-1 is my guess because both teams are very good defensively. Um, but it could go honestly in so many different ways. It's hard to say. And Hussein FC is a very high scoring team, generally speaking. So it really could go in any way. But what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I know this from the day of drafts that we're gonna win it all. I'm actually disappointed from the one loss we took, and it was funny because Misam Abbas, who's actually sponsoring our team, he was there. Shabir Ali, who's our coach, he was actually
Mhm.
there. So it was a tough loss.
Tough
We
loss.
lost in front of them, and it was a very neck to neck game, and we lost. And I was very disappointed. I was like, I had a bad mood all week.
Mm.
But I think we're like if we have our starting lineup, no team in NJSSL can beat us. That's my take, right? So
Strong take.
if we go in finals, our record against Timeless is 1-0 so far, and I think we'll just do it again.
Doing
Maybe
it. Oh,
four.
excellent, excellent. Fair enough. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. If maybe AHK and and Velocity Capital will prove us wrong.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anything can
I
happen in
mean,
the NJSL.
this is soccer. It's if it clicks, it clicks. Honestly, it's whoever has the best chemistry, who's having the best day. It all matters.
100%. 100%. One goal makes the biggest difference.
Yeah, yeah.
So finally, I'll just ask you the last thing. If we were to talk about potential award winners for this season, I think there's probably at least 3 to 4 that I can think of off the top of my head that would definitely be interesting. Probably 5, but I want to hear your takes. So let's kind of go from the bottom up. Rookie of the year, the new person in the league. I think that there's a few good choices, but I think the obvious choice in my mind is Samir Ahmed. I mean, he's literally made such a huge difference for Hussaini FC, which is the number one team right now. I would think that he's got to be shoo in for that.
Yeah, but like I think Samir would have a better chance at being MVP. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I know in NJSSL you can have two awards. So
Mm-hmm.
if I was giving him one award, it would be MVP rather than Rookie of
Mm.
the Year. Um, but I mean, there's some other candidates like John, Sajad, Sayed. They're all playing for the first time. Surur from our team, Surur.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are we talking Rookie of the Year as in like
First ever NJSSL
first
season,
ever
yeah,
NJSSL league? So Surur is there, Hassan. Um, like there's plenty of people, right?
yeah.
From our team who I think would be a good candidate. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the other person that I think that also would probably be an excellent candidate would be Ali Abbas Kareem, who I believe was the first draft pick for TCFC. I still don't actually know who he is. I've never met the guy, but his name is basically there every week as one of the goal scorers for TCFC. So he might be a guy too. And honestly, this
Ali
the only stat that's
Abbas is good. From Timeless, like I can like I can see a lot of people getting that right. Goss
Mhm,
playing his first season. Ali Kareem, I've played against him. Like tall guy, very
mhm.
fast, got a lot of stamina,
Yeah.
doing everything right. So yeah, I can see a lot of people from from these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Second award I guess to talk about. I'm interested to hear your take. Captain of the year. Who do you think would take that one home? I think Hassem from TCFC would probably take that. Just kind of given how involved he is with his team, and like you said, they practice every week for 2 hours. And he's just always like level headed, good mood. So he definitely could do it. But who knows? Maybe you'll tell me ZJ is a more deserving captain.
I mean, it all depends how we end the season, right? Um,
Yeah.
and being a captain has a lot of factors, right? I mean, yeah, practice is one of them, but if
Hmm.
you're practicing for 2 hours and if I'm not seeing that on the field, right?
Hmm.
I mean, team who practices every Thursday and if they can win games, what's the point of having a
That's a good
yeah?
point. That's a good point.
So in that regards, I think ZJ is doing a great job. I think it all started when being a captain, he drafted this team.
Hmm.
I think that was his like biggest move, and I think that was the biggest prop. Like if you look at captain, right, being a leader, he picked this team, and like he's taking us all together. I mean, he's being doing a great job, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
ZJ,
What?
Asim, yeah, it'll be a close call, but I think ZJ like depending on how the season ends, right? If
Yeah.
like like how it's going right now, I see ZJ taking it.
Yeah, no, fair enough, fair enough. I think the one thing we can assume is that it's not going to be Veli. But what we can put Veli in the conversation for would be Opoy potentially. And I think or I guess attacker of the year. I don't know what the name of the category is going to be called. Forward of the year maybe. But Veli. But I actually wouldn't give it to Veli. I'd actually give it to Irtaza. I think he's probably so far demonstrated one of the more that he's worthy of that title. Just he's playing pretty much well every week. Again, you could argue it's hard to like say because I don't know if you can just base it only on goals scored. Like there's more to the game than that.
Yeah,
But
yeah, for sure.
who would you kind of put in that category?
I mean, if we're again, it's I think in NJSSL, sadly, it's more of a, it's not on caliber. It's more of how popular you are with people.
Mm.
So in that regards, I can see Vali, if he gets nominated, because he has a lot of like pull, right? He has so many
Hmm.
fans,
Yeah,
and I think people are like him generally. So I think
yeah,
Wally might get an edge, not just because he's deserving, because it's like NJSSL. So
yeah.
he's gonna.
I mean,
But I think overall, Irtaza is doing a great job. I think Qasim is doing a great job as being a striker.
hmm,
From our team, like
Farhan, right?
Farhan. So Farhan, when the season started, obviously with he just came back with a surgery, right? So he was
Hmm, hmm.
taking it lightly, but I saw like his potential in last game. Last game he scored
Yeah,
twice, and I don't even think he's on his full potential yet. And I can see Farhan like exploding literally,
yeah.
like in the semis and final. Inshallah, he's gonna score, and maybe he's gonna be the striker of the year. Remember?
Yeah, if not, maybe I can definitely see him being somebody who goes all out in the playoffs and picking up that
Yeah,
playoff
yeah.
MVP award.
I've seen Farhan play soccer before, like before his injury, and
Hmm.
like I know his potential. I know like what he's capable of. So, inshallah, like as he gains more confidence, obviously, when you come back from a injury and from a surgery, you want to take it a little lightly. So I think
Yeah.
he's out of that phase now. So
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
he's looking well.
He's full force. He's a dangerous guy on the
Oh
field.
yeah, the last
Um,
last game we played, the one goal he scored, it was insane. Like like I was just like, this is unbelievable the way he scored it. I hope they upload the game because the first goal he scored, that was amazing.
nice, 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 nice. And then finally, I guess then defensive player of the year. This is gonna be hard. There's no stat really to go by here. At least none that's being recorded. So, if you had to pick, like between all four teams, who would you put?
Um, I mean, if you look at the defensive player of the year, like all all around, um, I mean, from our team, I would say Shahrukh is doing a great job. Me myself, I would consider um, Hussein Hussein from
Mm-hmm.
VC is doing great. Um, Other than that, I don't really see any people like standing out, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I mean, I have a few names like I think Safir's doing pretty okay in
Mm-hmm.
AHK team. I don't honestly I don't even know any timeless creation defender
Demonstration is.
by name,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah, I mean it's a fair game for everybody. Honestly,
yeah.
again, all depends on how the season ends. We still got
Yes.
like 3 games, right?
Mm-hmm,
At
mm-hmm.
least for us, 3 games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
One season, two playoff
we'll see.
games.
Yeah.
All right, awesome, awesome. And then, like you said, Samir Emma definitely a potential MVP candidate. I was gonna say depending on who wins the championship, right? If TCFC pulls it out, which I still think they're gonna do, I can see somebody like Qasim or like Elia Boskrim or any of those guys pulling out the MVP. It'll be interesting to see. I guess could go in many ways.
Mhm.
But I guess time will tell. But any final thoughts, Yasser, before we end this podcast?
Um, I mean, I just want to say that again, thank you for having me. And I think this
Of course.
NJSSL soccer needs to just continue.
Yeah.
We need to have a lot more soccer. I think we see we see a lot of new interest, right? We see a
Hmm.
lot of people who are like want to join in, and I think honestly, next time we can even have more than 4 teams. I see a lot
Yeah.
of people. We got like what 18 people per team. It's just not fair for everybody because only 9 play, right? So
Right.
I think we can have a little more team. It's gonna saturate the talent a little bit more, but I think that's gonna be like it's gonna be healthy for everybody because now like after that everybody can play, everybody will have a chance. But yeah, that's my
Yeah.
take.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Yasser. I appreciate definitely all your insight and your time. And I think, yeah, I think the fans are going to enjoy this episode as we kind of head into the final week of NJSSL Soccer. Lots of good stuff coming up ahead. We got basketball later this year, but we can worry about that later because we got as Hussaini FC wants to do, a championship to win
Hmm.
here in NJSSL Soccer. So
Correct.
until then, folks, thank you all for joining. Thank you for watching. And until next time, Shabakher.